going back to your question, I think this break has been really good for me because, I had this really epic dream, and in this dream, I kind of narrowed down my niche of my course even more. So it's going to help me execute it and help more of my ideal clients. I just learned a lot about myself through this time. I really pushed my boundaries, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I'm, very 50% extrovert, 50% introvert. So I really need my downtime. Mm-hmm. So as far as, making lemonade from lemons, I would say, I just learned that there's different seasons in life, and right now, it wasn't the right time. True. So it's okay that I thought I was a failure. I thought I wasted all this money, but I have the knowledge. I learned so much, and I'll make it happen one day.
Yes.
Welcome to the Amani Experience Podcast. In this podcast, you will experience wisdom, advice, and stories from creatives all over the world. Your host is Amani Roberts, who is a DJ, music producer, professor, avid book reader, and developing salsa dancer. On the show, we love to share the stories of creative professionals, especially people who've gone from the corporate life to the creative life. Once again, welcome to the Amani Experience Podcast.
Welcome back to the show. I'm excited to introduce our next guest. I'm going to give you her quick bio. So, she went to college at University of California, Riverside and got a degree in economics. She worked at an online agency after college, but was not completely satisfied in the corporate world, so she quit her job, picked up wedding photography, and hit the ground running. She's found her passion, and it continues to grow each and every day. Since 2009, she has shot over 200 weddings. It has taken her around the world to Paris, Hawaii, Thailand, Chicago, Taiwan, and New York. She gets to be 100% creative, and not just with her work, but also in her life. This profession gives her the space and freedom to let creativity and beauty come through each and every day. She recently got married to her high school friend, and it was the best day of their lives. I'm so happy to have Carissa Woo on the show. Hello, Carissa.
Woo woo. You said everything I was going to say.
That's true. What's your bio? So I have to tee you up pretty good.
Hi, everyone.
Cool. So you're here with us. Basically, tell us your story kind of from what I'm left out of your bio. Kind of fill us in any blanks in terms of when you started school to where you are now.
Wow, I was just going to say everything that you just said.
Caught you off guard.
Yes. I shoot about 30-ish weddings a year. I'm a new mom to a daughter, Piper, 7 months.
Hi, Piper.
Hi, Piper. I miss you. And my client is always laughing, always having fun. They love color. They love the nice light, the whimsical setting. And they don't take themselves too seriously. So they're just always having a good time. And about me, I'm still definitely passionate about what I do. I'm an educator for wedding photographers, and I just really want my clients to have the best day of their lives.
Cool. Well, I know that you started off working for Saatchi & Saatchi, so it's a really prominent advertising agency. Talk to us about what made you decide to go from Saatchi & Saatchi to doing your own thing.
Yeah, I had a pretty good job. I was just more entry level, but I got that position. Everyone wanted to be in the online department, which I was in, and I was living the good life. We got free iPads and Madonna, JT concerts, and dinner at Mastro's. But then everything changed after the 2009 recession. We were losing a lot of, or we had to let go of a lot of business, and it was just a very hostile environment. I was working long hours, and I was just so young and naive, and I just didn't imagine my life like that. And my boss didn't like me. And so I didn't get fired, but I ended up quitting with nothing backed up, or I didn't have any plan B or plan C, but I just kind of did it. Everyone thought it was a little bit crazy, but it was my exploration year. Are you taking video of me?
I am. I'm taking video of you. Keep going. We're going to put it on Instagram story.
Oh, nice. Good job. I've been teaching Amani about social media.
Schooling me. I love it.
Yes. And yeah, I just kind of hit the ground running, and people thought, wow, you're such a risk taker, but I really wasn't risking anything because I had nothing. I didn't have a family to support, or I didn't really have too many bills. But yeah, I just went out to find my passion. I was really obsessed with this Steve Jobs commencement speech for Stanford.
Classic one.
And he kept saying, your work is going to take up a lot of time in your life. So, find your passion, do what you love, because with every great relationship, it gets better and better.
True.
Booyah.
So was there a turning point or a specific event when you were like, you know what, besides the recession, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I got to go.
I think I saw people in higher positions, and I thought, wow, it doesn't really get much easier as you climb up the corporate ranks. I felt like there was a lot of pressure, a lot of hustle, that feeling of never really being done with anything because there's so many different projects. I think I just maybe started off with a good company too soon. Again, I was just this little ignorant girl that didn't really know much. I just was very motivated.
Wouldn't say ignorant, just, we're young. We need to learn. We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks.
Of course. So why wedding photography?
Wedding photography, so I started off with this framing company. I did personalized frames. My dad helped me. I sold frames to like soccer teams and for holidays, birthdays, and this one popular frame I made was a wedding date frame, and you would put like your photos behind it. And this lady that ran the bridal convention, she found me on the internet and wanted me to get a booth for a good deal. So that's how I was introduced to the wedding industry.
Cool.
And then I got to talk to a ton of brides. I saw the photography out there, and I thought, wow, I could do better than this. I've always loved photography. I was always that girl that had the camera, and I loved like posing people, and I was just like this hopeless romantic. So I really just thought, wow, I could really do this, and I'm going to do it right.
Okay, cool. What were some of the things you learned since 2009 to now in terms of perfecting your craft? Because you're a phenomenal photographer, so it didn't happen overnight. What did you do to kind of protect your, not protect your craft, but kind of perfect your craft and really improve each and every day?
I think when I got married, it was just interesting to be on the other side of the lens. And, I just really reminded me that it's not just about like these stunning stylized images. It's a lot about the experience, just like the Amani experience. Yes. It's like the Carissa Woo experience. So I really take pride in like being their best friend on their big day and like making them, have just the best time, and like making sure they're hydrated, making sure they don't have like lipstick on their teeth, making sure that, the energy is really up and high and great. And I think that has really helped me get really good reviews and get those images that I want and also the client ones.
Okay. In today's environment, what's important for creative professionals to be successful?
Today's environment is basically going to be the same. Everything's always changing, but I think that mindset of can do and just do it, done over perfect. I think that it's really important to find your niche and your style. If you want to do bohemian weddings, if you want to do, more film shooting, if you want to do more photojournalistic style shootings, just finding that niche and finding your ideal client is very important, and then working with the vendors that have similar vision as you. You're going to hustle for, a couple years, and, sometimes that never stops. But I think that passion will keep you going.
Tell us how your parents influence you and your business.
All right. So my dad was always an entrepreneur. So he gave me that creative outlet. And a lot of my family is in the creative industry. I'm very artistic, and my mom was this like national sales manager for a fashion magazine, and so she always taught me how to goal set, and she even took me to a lot of motivational seminars at a young age, and a lot of people don't even know that exist. Kind of like those Tony Robbins things. It's kind of caught on over the years, but people will be like, oh, like, why are you reading a self-help book? Do you have problems? But now it's not like that anymore, but that's how I kind of grew up. My mom always said you have to like write down your goals, you have to goal set, you could do anything that you set your mind to. So I kind of grew up with that can-do attitude.
Good, good. Why do you love what you do?
I love what I do because I get to be a part of the biggest day of someone's life, and, you know, see people at their very best. I think that people look the best, they act their best, it's really the happiest day of their lives. And, you know, I just am in love with love. That is my mantra, my headline, my tagline. And I just love to be a part of their big day and just be able to be creative, be able to direct. And I just, you know, love the feeling of giving them their images. And I just want them to, you know, be so happy and almost like in tears when they see their images.
Cool. A romantic at heart.
Yes, I am.
What's something that scares you?
So I don't really know how to answer this question. I think before I had my daughter, what scared me was the no sleep aspect, because I am very big on sleep. I get 8 to 9 hours my whole life. My friends tell me I turn into a pumpkin at like midnight. So that was really scary for me. But once I got used to the no sleep, my body adjusted to it. So right now, what scares me, I think I'm not doing anything right now that scares me, because I am taking a little break off of like learning new things and like developing new things. I'm just focusing on what I've been doing for the past 7 years. So it's not so scary. And I think I've never been scared of failure, because I always think people just will fail if they want to fail, or they give up. So I think that has never scared me. And I think a lot of things that scare people, like are public speaking. I've gotten over my fear of public speaking, and that took a lot of work. That took practice. So now, like, you know, being in my 30s, I just feel like
Still very young.
Thank you. I've aged a lot this past year, but I just feel like anything that I'm scared of, I think I could overcome it, because I've done so with certain things in my life.
Right. How'd you get over your fear of public speaking?
Let's see. I think I got over my fear of public speaking by doing a couple like maid of honor speeches. And just, you know, practicing. My parents are very into like Toastmasters, but I've gone to a couple meetings with them. And just the more you do it, the more comfortable you are with it. And just knowing that, you know, I could talk to you or on this podcast and just like talking to a friend. And I really know like my truth. I know my story. I've been perfecting my craft for a long time. So I'm just very confident in who I am and what I know, what I'm good at and what I'm bad at too.
Okay, good. Now, the photography industry, specifically wedding photography industry, is a very crowded space. What do you do to kind of rise above all the noise and distinguish yourself in your company?
There's a lot of things, but I think your personal brand, your trust factor that everyone keeps talking about, because I think a lot of people don't have the content in the beginning. They don't shoot all these weddings, so you could actually, post about yourself, 5 fun facts to know about you every Friday, or like about your pets, or about you, what you're passionate about. And I think people just want to see your personality. And then, a lot of people tell me when they meet me, like, oh, like, I kind of knew your personality before I met you, because I do put myself out there a lot, and I've been doing that for many years. So I think that just will help you stand out amongst the crowd, because, no one could be you. No one has the same vision exactly as you. And, no one is you, so you just have to run with that.
Right. Very true. Now, talk to us about how a failure or an apparent failure set you up for later success. Do you have a favorite failure of your own?
Oh, I like how you say apparent failure. It changes the whole story.
Yes.
So it was actually recently where, going back, like before my pregnancy, I started educating a lot of wedding photographers. So I did a lot of live trainings. And then I wanted to get into like the online course industry, which is a huge industry. And, because I didn't have much time on my hands, I just felt like I wanted to like do it right. So I started, buying all these courses and comparing myself to people. But then during pregnancy, I really gave myself a break to just, watch Netflix a lot and like not learn anything new, not network. And then once I had the baby, little Piper,
yes,
I don't know what happened. I just got really motivated. I started like networking a lot. I tried to like launch this course. I just tried to do too much at one time while shooting 30 weddings while in like prime wedding season. So I think I just got burnt out and I got really unhappy. So I just had to like really quit that and focus on being a mom and shooting these weddings. And now like I'm trying to revisit it. And going back to your question, I think this break has been really good for me because, I had this really epic dream. And in this dream, like I kind of narrowed down my niche of my course even more. So it's going to help me execute it and help more of my ideal clients. So yeah, I just learned a lot about myself through this time. I really pushed my boundaries and I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I'm, very like 50% extrovert, 50% introvert. So I really need my downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as, making lemonade from lemons, I would say like, I just learned that there's different seasons in life and right now, like it wasn't the right time.
True.
So it's okay that I thought I was a failure. I thought I wasted all this money, but I have the knowledge. I learned so much and I'll make it happen one day.
Yes, you will very soon.
Thanks.
Yes, no pressure. We're not going to put any pressure on you. Tell us about the course though. Can you share any information about what you're thinking about for the course or kind of how it's going to work?
Yeah, before it was going to be called like Carissa Explains It All, a new photographer's heaven, and it was kind of like everything I've ever learned, how to become a wedding photographer, how to book your first 3 weddings, but it was just so much information. Oh my goodness, how could I like chunk everything into this online course? So now I'm going to talk about more how to execute the day of the wedding, because there's a lot of things that I've learned to execute a wedding. So many photographers say, oh, this happened and this happened. I didn't get enough time, yada, yada, yada. But there's a lot of tips and tricks I have for that not to happen.
Okay, nice. And so you broke down. So you also spoke about how you struggle a little bit with comparing yourself to kind of other people and everything. What did you do to kind of work through that? Because that's a common issue that many entrepreneurs or people in general have to go through.
Yeah, I think I kept chasing that shiny object. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. This person just did a $50,000 launch. Why not me? And it really taught me a lot about myself. And I would just, look at other people's work. Oh, I'm not doing good enough. But I just had to really bring it back to, tell myself I am enough and, I'm very talented. I have a lot to be thankful for. And, people are booking me for a reason. So just understanding that and just knowing that comparing yourself to other people is definitely not good for the soul.
Right. Definitely not. Now, we might have already talked about this. Thanks for sharing, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you. But can you tell us about the darkest time of your life, how you got through that, and what did you learn from it?
Dang, we're going dark.
Real quick, and then we'll circle back to happy times.
I think just what I talked about, that transition of being a mom and also an entrepreneur or solopreneur, It was finding my happy place again because, I love what I do, and I love being a mom. So how do I balance mom work life, and, not feeling guilty if I'm at work and vice versa. It was just really hard for me to understand like what made me truly happy. And everyone's balance is different. So for example, like my balance is to drop my baby off to like daycare or grandma's house and then to go to the gym and then, do like a 2 or 3 mile walk or run and just, get in that good energy and then to work. And then when I pick her up around 5, then I could focus on her. I could, not be on my cell phone, not be on social media, and just be like a true mom. I think that is my happiness. And I think I genuinely do love what I do. So that's why I still want to work. But yeah, I think a lot of new moms struggle with that. And, going through like some postpartum, you feel very like empty, like your hormones are all over the place. Your body's like just different. You're just a very like different person. And then the team no sleep and, just the lack of time, everything gets kind of thrown off.
Right. Any advice for moms who are kind of going through the same thing you are in terms of mom entrepreneurs who like have to balance being the mom with creating and growing a business?
Yeah, I think it's just, be kind to yourself, obviously, and just know that you do have to take some time to figure out what makes you happy, and how to run your life and, to say no to people and just like cut out the things that are too time consuming, which it may be outsourcing, or it may be, to hire a virtual assistant. So just like find your balance.
Right. Very true. Good advice. Self-care is very important, isn't it?
Yes. I think everyone's definition of self-care is so different. I think
True.
People would say, oh, how like self-care. And you're like, well, I get my hair done. Is that self-care? Like
for some people, yes. Some people, no.
Yeah. And as you grow up, you pretty much find like what self-care is. And to me, it's, exercise.
Right.
It's drinking a lot of water, not partying too hard, trying to get sleep, and yeah, eating right, because I could eat fried rice for every meal if I wanted to.
That's not too healthy. True. For me, like self-care, like getting my hair done is not going to do anything for me. I have no hair. It's all going away. But reading. So reading something for me, that's self-care. So that helps me. Oh,
yeah. You love reading.
Yes. So that's good for me. All right, let's go back. 21-year-old Carissa, you were still in LA that time, right?
Always.
Always LA. Yeah. So we're going to go back to LA. 21-year-old Carissa, what advice would you give 21-year-old Carissa based on what you know now?
Let's see, 21, I was out of college working. I think I would say like, yes, you could hustle, but you should be more intentional about what type of clients you want to work with. You should be more intentional about the style weddings and the vendors that you want to collab with or network with, not just, take anything, because it hurts you in the end if you just do everything. And I think, after hiring some like mentors and money coaches, I've learned not to discount, not even to feed into that energy. Everyone asks for a discount before they even talk to you, and they say, oh, I'm on a budget. And I say, well, I'm on a budget too. Everyone's on a budget.
I'm going to try that. I'm on a budget too.
I'm like, I hope your budget's like $10,000. But I just don't like to feed into that energy and like make sure they respect me and respect my work to the point where they're not even asking for a discount. So that took a lot of, training, and kind of like going back into like my past to, when I was raised, like I never really was educated on finances, or I never really knew what enough was. I never learned how to budget. So it's just pretty much like, chase that money. But, now like I'm not perfect at all, but I'm kind of learning that you have to have like a plan and a budget and like see what's going in and what's going out, and just being like more aware. And, a lot of entrepreneurs and people struggle with the same thing, and some people will go through life never understanding money. So it's a very important topic that I think schooling and college, they don't really talk about.
Right. We always talk about, like, in college, I wish it was like a life course. Life course that would teach you about, like, managing money, credit card debt, what that means.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, how to handle it if, like, a close family member dies suddenly or things like that. Like, those are things they don't really teach in college that would be so valuable. Even high school. I mean, it can be an advanced high school class that we have to learn on our own in life, and it's bumpy. It's tough.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I would tell myself to save. I was so stubborn that I worked in my hometown, yet I still paid $1,000 rent a month. That is ridiculous. I'm not sure why my parents let me do that. But I was that stubborn that I didn't understand. I just said, oh, I don't want to live with my parents.
Pride.
Yeah, total pride. And I'm like, hello, if you had saved for 2 years, you could have had a lot of money.
Yes, $24,000
yes,
there.
Exactly.
Not that we're going to put a number to it. Ouch.
I know.
I feel your pain, though.
And what else? I think just to not be so scared of, failing.
Yes.
And just, like, live life in the moment. Not like I didn't.
Right. You enjoyed yourself. You told me stories.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I'm a party girl at heart, so.
Yes. We'll say that for the next show. The next time you appear. We won't talk about that this time. We won't put you on.
Talk.
Yes, we won't put you on blast right now.
After hours.
You spoke about being intentional with clients, and so I think that's great advice. Explain to us, because many people hear that and would think, oh, well, I'm going to be selective with clients when I first start off. I'm going to be slow. I'm not going to be busy. But talk to us about how that might be a benefit in the long run.
I think that, like, you want to make that money per weekend, and it's sad to let it go. But in the long run, like, you're going to get hired by the clients that, want to work with you and, like, want you for your style, and they'll pay for that. They'll pay for you the amount that you are happy with. And I think it'll get so much easier as time goes on. They'll look at your Instagram or your website and be like, that's my photographer, that's my planner, that's my DJ. And then, like, the work will just kind of come to you. Like, your ideal client will just be knocking at your door. You don't have to keep chasing.
Right. So if you put the time in early on to really be specific about the type of client, your ideal clients, they'll come to eventually. It might take a little longer, but you have to practice patience.
Yeah, and that's what, like, I was teaching in my courses, pretty much, like, how to hone in on, like, the style you want, and, like, kind of describing your style, and, like, looking at different photographers' websites and seeing, like, what you like, what you dislike. And it's hard at first because you don't have that eye. Your eye is not developed. That goes as years go on. But I try to have people hone on it in the beginning so they're not all over the place, like, oh my God, I like that, but I like that, and I like that. It's just, it gets so overwhelming to the point where you don't even know what you're doing anymore.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. What's one new habit that you've added to your daily routine in the past year or so that you want to share with us that's been really effective for you?
The past year?
It can be a little longer than a year.
Well, my best friend just taught me how to eat a banana in the morning.
Okay.
It actually fills up your stomach. It's really weird.
Okay.
Instead of eating fried rice.
Right. Yes. So do you want to share the proper way to eat a banana in the morning?
You just eat it?
Okay. What else? What other habit?
I really like the book Miracle Mornings by Elrod. It's about, like, waking up in the morning with, like, intention, or even having intention the night before, but waking up, like, drinking a glass of water, like, doing a couple sit-ups, jumping jacks, and, like, getting in that very, like, positive space. I kind of forget, like, everything he says. I read it a long time ago, but I think that has really helped me, just, starting the day off really fresh.
Okay.
And then, besides a banana, like, after I drop my daughter off to daycare, then I go straight to the gym.
So continue to work out.
Yeah, because, sweating out those toxins really helps. And, like, I think just it makes you more energetic in the day if you work out.
Yeah, true. So you spoke about Miracle Mornings. That's one book. What other books are there that maybe you've read that you really love that you tell people to stop what you're doing right now and start reading it right away? What kind of books come to mind for that category?
Good question. I I think for this time period in my life, this season, I really like the book Present Over Perfect by Shauna Niequist. It's about, like, she was an author and she was getting all these, speaking gigs, and she just lived this, like, very frantic life that we all do in LA. I think it's like chase, hustle, like do the work. And I think it just made me really unhappy. And I just had to, like, I was giving my best self to, my weddings and to my friends, but, like, my home life was kind of slacking. So it's just really about, like, how to say no to people, how to, like, make downtime for yourself, how, like, your family life is all about being connected, and that's, like, what brings you joy. I really ate up everything that she said in the book. I was sad that it was done, but it was just one of those books that I just listened to over again right after I listened to it. But some people are on different stages of their life. Someone was telling me about a book about having coffee with, like, every single person that they could. So it just is totally different. But this time period of my life, I think it was just so perfect for me to slow down.
Yeah, perfect. Good. We'll add that to the show notes. Any other books come to mind?
Let's see.
If not, we can always add more later.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do listen to audible.com a lot. So I've had, like, a couple books that I like 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, and Tools of the Titans.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much
good.
it. I mean, I used to read The Secret in college. I was all about that manifestation.
Did it work for you?
It did. And I really like The Luck Factor by Richard Wiseman.
Okay.
Because, people will say, oh, you're lucky. Like, no, I just hustle.
There you go.
I just make it happen.
Right.
And that has really helped me because it told you, like, it's all about, like, your goal and what's taking time away from your goal and what's pushing you towards your goal. I really enjoyed that book.
Cool. I know you're into podcasts as well. What are some of your favorite podcasts?
Well, I love your podcast, The Money Experience. So I started off podcasts from, Serial, the murder mystery.
Right. Great one.
That was kind of the segue into the podcast industry. And then I had all those female podcasts, Being Boss, Jenna Kutcher's podcast, The Gold Digger, Girl Boss, Sophia Amoruso. Then I started doing, like, the whole, like, online business, like Amy Porterfield, Melissa Griffin. And now I was kind of sick of the female energy, so I started going to more male podcasts, like, the Tim Ferriss Show and Lewis Howell, The School of Greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, like, criminal stuff. Like, I like Criminal, and I'm into this new one called Dirty John that my husband recommended about a crazy psycho boyfriend that tried to kill the girl's daughter, and the daughter killed him. So it's a true story. So I just listened to the first episode, so I'm hooked.
All right. I'm going to have to check that one out, too. Great recommendation.
Yep.
Cool. Tell people how they can find you online.
They can find me online. My personal Instagram account that I'm very active on is Carissa Woo, Carissawoo. And then my photography one is Carissa Woo Photography. And then my website's CarissaWooPhotography.com.
And you like to spend a lot of time on Instagram, correct? No Twitter, not much Facebook?
I was really into Facebook, but I'm not too active. But no Twitter. And yeah, Instagram's my jam.
Yeah, good stories. I have to give Carissa credit. Everyone compliments me on, like, the cartoons that are the covers for each of the episodes, and that was Carissa's idea because we were going to work on a project together. We still are later on.
Yes.
But I borrowed or adopted that idea. It's been very successful. So great foresight. Thank you for sharing the idea.
Thank you for saying thank you because I would have never even remembered that.
Yeah, I have to give credit where credit is due. And you shared that idea initially, and I loved it. So I used it. It got great feedback. So
well, thank you for having me. I love talking about myself.
Who does it? That's right. Yeah. Okay, well, we're almost out of here. Can you share any last-minute words of advice with our people out there?
Ooh.
No pressure.
I think it's just that everyone is great. And I think to be great, you really have to, have new experiences and fail. I think that's what my dad taught me, like in tennis. Like, you could be down like 5-0 games and still win the game.
Yes, you can.
And everything's always like auto-correcting. Like, if you're off course, like just, bring it back to the center. And I think that it's really important to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. I didn't even understand that when I was young. I kept hearing it, but it's actually really true.
Yes.
You vibe off of people. Everything's about energy. And yeah, just having a goal and sticking to it.
Great advice. You still play tennis, don't you?
Every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite tennis players growing up and now?
I don't even watch.
You don't watch?
But I just heard the Maria Sharapova one on the School of Greatness, and she's very, very brilliant. And she talks about, her mom giving her these Russian poems to memorize it when she was 5 years old, and it really taught her discipline and repetition, because that will bring you success.
It will. Good advice. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. We're going to definitely have you back again for a second time.
What?
But it's been a pleasure, and we will see everyone very soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to the Amani Experience podcast. You can check out the show notes on amaniexperience.com/podcast. Please remember to leave us a review on the platform you are listening on. And share this podcast with anyone who you feel would benefit from listening. See you soon on our next episode.